In this presentation, we're going to discuss about controlling the flow of a program or conditional execution. In our daily life, we encounter situations like if rain comes, I will use my umbrella. So it is a condition based on which you are doing an action. So rain comes is a condition and use umbrella is the action. In programming as well, we encounter same situation. This is where we use different fault control methodologies like if else, switch case, etc. First we're gonna see if else statement. We'll directly go to a demo and we'll write a program which has if else statement and we'll try to understand it. I'm gonna start a new project. So I have a variable int a equal to 0. So I'm gonna do a print of hello world if a equal to 0, print of hello world. So this statement will get executed only if a equal to 0. So there are a couple of things to notice up here. So there is equal to here. It is not equal to, but there is 2 equal to. So that's how you compare things. So let's try to execute this program. So we got the output hello world. So let me stop debugging. Let me make a equal to 1. So this time the hello world is not printed. So if I put a breakpoint here, and start executing, so a equal to 1, so F10. So here we are checking if a equal to 0. That checking is becoming false. So it is not going into the printf statement. So let's go back and change a equal to 0. So a equal to 0. This time I'm pressing F10 again. So this time I'm reaching here because a equal to 0. So this statement is getting executed. So now we don't have the printf. So F10. So now we will have the printf. If you have more than one statement in the action, we may have to give braces. So printf test. So if I don't give braces, this will get executed always. It is always a good idea to give braces. Sometimes it helps readability as well. Now let's consider the scenario of else. So I'm gonna add an else statement here. So else printf not 0. We have an else statement here. If this condition is true, this will get executed, and if the condition is false, this will get executed. So let's try this. So I'm gonna press F5. So we got hello world test. So we got two things printed. One is this and one is this. So we didn't get this. Now I'm gonna change the value of A to 1, and I'm gonna stop debugging and execute again. So not 0. So we got the else statement printed this time because this condition is getting false. So one of the things we have to understand here is the statement inside the if is narrowing down to either a 1 or a 0. So for example, if I give 0 here, so let me stop debugging. If I give 0 here, this statement will never get executed, and this will get always executed. So we got not 0. So if I give 1, it will always get executed. So basically the condition is evaluating into either 0 or 1. So now I'm going to introduce another variable called int b equal to say 10. Now I'm going to add another condition. So I wanted to execute this particular statement only if both a equal to 1 and b equal to 10. So both conditions should satisfy to execute the statement inside the if braces. So for that, the syntax is a equal to 1 ampersand ampersand b equal to 10. So this means that both a equal to 1 and at the same time b equal to 10 should get satisfied to execute these statements. So let's try that. So we got that. So now I'm going to make b to say 11. Let's see what we're gonna get. We should get this statement because b is not equal to 10. Yeah, we got not 0. So we got the else statement. So now another possibility is either one of this condition can be true. For example, or a equal to 1 or b equal to 10. So the syntax for that is double pipe. This is or. So let's see how things works in this case. So a equal to 1 and b is not equal to 10, but we are telling that if either one of them satisfies, execute this. So we should get print of hello world. Yep, we got it. So now I'm gonna make both of them to false. So in this case we will get again not zero, because both these conditions are false. Basically these conditions are evaluating into either true or false, which means 0 or 1, as I mentioned earlier. Another thing we can do is I can give another statement here called else if say a equal to 100, print a is 100. Again I can give another else print of no hit. So in this case I have I have added an else if statement here. So if both of these conditions are false, it will go here. If this condition is false, it will go here, and so on. We can have any number of else if statements in between if and else. So let's try to execute this. To get the feeling of the output, I'm gonna make a equal to 100. So a equal to 100, so this condition is going to be false. So this checking is going to be false. A is not equal to 1. So b equal to 10 is also going to be false, because b equal to 11. This condition is going to be true because a is equal to 100. So this is going to be true. So we are expecting this as the output of the program, not this or this. And we got it. So that was the short introduction of if, else if, and else statements. So next we're gonna see switch and case statement, which is going to achieve similar goals as if else. So I'm going to have another variable int a, which is equal to 0. So now instead of if else, I'm going to have a switch a. In braces I will have case 0, printf in case 0, so this should be colon, should be full colon, should not be semicolon, so please notice that syntax. And another thing we should remember is to put a break here. So I will explain why we need that break sometime later. Now case 1, printf case 1 and I'm gonna have the default. So I'm purposefully not giving break in the second case statement. In case default. So if you can have optional break statement at the end as well. So let's see the output of the program. Let's first build this program to see if there is any compilation problems. So compiler is happy. So I'm gonna execute this program to see the output. So we got the output case 0, which is expected. So let me explain what is happening here. So we have a switch statement here. So switch A, which means that the value of A is equal to any of the cases, we will go and execute those case statements. So it's very easy. So in this case, A equal to 0. So we gone to case 0 and printed this, and we did a break from that, which means that none of these statements executed. But if you don't have a break, all this statement will get executed. So once again, so switch A, which means that if A equal to 0, we will be executing this statement. If A equal to 1, we will be executing this statement and not this statement. So let me make A equal to 1. So in this case, we can see that in case 1 and in case default as output. So which means that both of these statements has executed, which is expected. So if you want only case 1 to be executed, you have to put a break here. So that's why we put the break before. Let's see the output now. So in case 1, the default didn't get executed because we have a break here. So why default? Again, I'm gonna make A equal to 10. So I don't have a case statement for A equal to 10. I don't have case 10. So in that case, in that scenario, default will get executed. If I don't have an equivalent case statement like this, for the value of A, the default will get printed. So in this case, we are expecting in case default instead of any of this, because we don't have case A equal to 10 or case 10 we don't have. So in case default. So for example, if I give case 10 here, the default won't get executed. So I'm gonna add case 10. break. So now we got no default, which means that it gone into this statement because we have 10 and currently a equal to 10. So in switch we have to give the parentheses for the condition or the variable. We have to give braces after that, then the case statements. After that we have to give full colon. After each case statement we have to give full colon. So all the syntax are very important. If you make some mistake, compiler won't be forgiving. And at the end, default. So default is not compulsory. We can avoid this default completely. So stop debugging. So no default. So in this case, if I give a equal to say 100, nothing will get printed. Stop debugging. So no output we have. So we have seen if, else and switch statements for conditional execution. There are other methods to do conditional execution of the code. One is the conditional operator or the question mark. Another is go to. So first we're gonna see conditional operator. So here is a program we have which has conditional operator in it. We have a variable called a which is equal to 1. So this is very similar to the if else statement we have seen, only the syntax is different. So if a equal to 0, print of this. If that is false, or else print of this. So that is what this statement says. So we have a question mark which is the conditional operator here, and we have a colon to separate the if and else condition. So if this condition is true, we will be executing this statement, and if that condition is false, we will be executing this statement. As I mentioned earlier, it's not very readable, unfortunately, but we will see a lot in the code, especially older codes. We will see this a lot. So it's important to understand this syntax. So let's try to execute this program and see the output. So now a equal to 1. So we are expecting this in the output. And we got it. Now I'm going to make a equal to 0. Now we have a equal to 0, which is this statement. Now we're gonna see go to statement. So in this program we have a go to statement here. So when we use go to statement, we need to have labels as well. So we have two labels here, so label 1 and label 2. So how we differentiate labels? So labels is nothing but anything which is ending up with a colon is a label. So we have label 1 and label 2. So what we are saying here is go to label 2. So the program will jump here from here. So these statements won't get executed. So we are changing the control of the flow here to here. So we'll execute this program and we will see a couple of potential problem with this as well. So everyone says don't use goto and use if else, but I have rarely seen the reason in many of the books. So we will see some logical reasoning why we should not use goto. So as we were expecting, we got test 1, test 3 and test 4 instead of test 2 and test 3. This should have been 4 and yeah, 5 and 4 should do. So let's execute it once again for more clarity. So we got 5 and 4. So this is not executed. So now let me change the program. So go to label label 2. From here go to label 1. So I have a couple of three more gotos here. So from here I'm going here, and from here I'm going to label 2. So there is an infinite loop up here. So I have changed the program a little bit. I have added 2 more gotos here. So do you see any problem with this code? So this is a small program. You may be able to figure out the problem. But suppose this function is 100 lines and you have some 5-6 gotos in that 100 lines of code. You may not be able to figure out the same problem. So let's try to execute this and see what is output. So we are getting some infinite loop up here. We are not ending the program. So it's continuously printing something. So let's see what is happening. So in this scenarios, breakpoints help. So I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. So I got the breakpoint hit. So we have a problem in our code and we're gonna debug that problem with the help of debugger. So I'm printing print of test 2 and test 3. Now I'm gonna press F10. F10. Now from here I gone to label 2, which is here. I printed these 2 statements. Now I'm gonna press F10 again. F10, F10. Now I'm going to label 1 again from here. So I'm gonna press F10 again. So I reached label 1. So that procedure is continuously going on. Look at that. That is never ending. But if you look at the code, you don't have any repetitive task going on. It's just gotos and you are changing the execution. So this is one of the problem with goto. It will be very difficult to figure out the flaw of the program by looking at the code. So you are making the code flow non-linear. So it's always good to have top to bottom flow for the code. So this is one last thing I wanted to show you in this presentation, is calling functions from an if condition. So this is something which you will see a lot when you look at protection code. So as I mentioned earlier, inside this parenthesis, if is expecting either 1 or a 0. It can be from anywhere. it can be from a conditional statement evaluation or a function call. We have seen conditional statement evaluation like a equal to 0. In this case, we're gonna see a function which is returning a value. Also, I wanted to introduce the not operator. What a not operator is doing is it is complementing the value which is returned by this function. So for example, if this function is returning 0, it will make it 1. If this function is returning 1, it will make it 0. So the end result is just the opposite of what this function is returning. So let's try to execute this program and see what is the output. So func is not working. So let's see what happens. So the function is returning 0. We are complementing that 0 which is returned here, and it is becoming 1. So the entire statement is becoming a 1. It'll execute this printf. So that's what happened. Now let me make this as 1, and let's see the output. So we have no output because this statement is not executed. So we have seen the function which is returning value and the not operator. So you can use not operator for statement like a equal to 0. So which means that any other case other than a equal to 0, execute this. Also, another thing I would like to mention here is reduce the amount of not operator you are using. I have seen a tendency of complicating the logic when you use not operator too much. So try to reduce it. Also, if can have a nested if loop. So if can have an if loop inside another if loop. You can have any number of nesting be equal to 0. And you can have else, whatever combination you want you can have. So nesting, not operator, and return value of function we have seen. Now let's go back to our slides. So we have seen switch case, conditional operator. We have seen how it reduces the readability. So if else is recommended. So we have seen this demo, if else switch case, go to conditional operator, and or even we have seen not. And that's all. Thank you very much.